the Supercross East Series, and looking forward to seeing what he can do next. It's Chase Sexton. What's up, Chase? How are you, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're good, man. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. You're in Florida. What have you been doing? We have Cade here in studio, and he talked about how hard it is to get motivated to go just moto down with this pause. But what about you?
For me, it was kind of uncertain when we were going to start racing again. So after Daytona, we heard, obviously, I went to Indy, flew to Indy, got there, and immediately got on a flight home because they told me it was canceled. So after that, they thought it was going to be sooner than later we were going to start racing. So I kind of kept on riding and training like normal. And then once they told us like it could be like months before we race again, I just took 2 weeks off, off the bike, and then was just training a little bit and mostly for fun. And then I played a lot of golf. The golf courses are still open here in Florida. So Adam and I have been hitting it pretty hard, been pretty competitive. So been doing that. And then obviously I got back on the bike last week and then been riding and training again normally. So, yeah, it's kind of tough to find, not tough to find motivation, but it's kind of just hard to train when you don't know what you're training for. As of this point, it looks like we might be racing Supercross.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I thought it was outdoors. So
I know. So you jumped on a 450 for a little bit, right?
Yeah, so I was on the 450 for probably 3 weeks total. Just to try and get ready, because I thought I was going to be racing outdoors. So now today was my first day back on the 250 on Supercross. So back on that, and who knows? I might be getting back on the 450.
I know.
Until Supercross has been going. So.
What do you hear? We were talking about it before the show started, the stuff that I've been hearing through the grapevine and stuff. What do you hear on your side from your team? Like, how likely do they think it is that we're going Supercross racing in mid-May?
So I've been hearing, like, mixed things, but like for my team, they're pretty certain it's going to happen. Like they think more likely than not. I'm thinking more like a 70-30 or 80-20 chance it happens.
Yep.
But then I talk to other people, and they're like, "No way it happened." So there's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of things that has to go right. I think for it to happen, but I don't know. I mean, for me, it worked out obviously really well for me to get to go racing again because I don't really want to go back from a 450 to a 250. So for me, I'd rather get this thing done.
You're the guy that comes up when we talk about racing Supercross in the fall because they're talking about 1 week off after the last national and then Supercross starts. That's kind of what Dave Prater is saying, and you're the guy that everyone's bringing up to like, man, this kid's going to ride a 450 all outdoors. He's leading the points in 250s. He has to just jump on a 250 right away. Like that is going to be rough if that's what happens, right?
I think what would happen is I would just obviously I'm not like if I'm doing good in the outdoors, but I think what would happen is just I'd probably take the last couple of outdoors off and get back on 250 because I mean the main goal for me is to win this championship. So everything comes after that.
True. By the way, who's better at golf, you or AC?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think the last 2 times we played, I beat him. But I played when we first found out we weren't like racing, so we started playing golf a lot. The first time we played, I beat him by a stroke or something. Then he went on a roll and just beat me like 4 times in a row, and I was really not happy with it. And the last 2 times, I've gotten the best of him, but I think he's going through a swing change right now, which that's what he said. So
swing change.
Yeah, so he's been grinding he has a new swing coach, so he's going through a swing change. So he's saying it's gonna hinder his game a little bit as of right now.
Hey, Chase, are you guys shooting par? That's what I want to know.
No, we're not shooting even par, but we're shooting mid-80s, somewhere around there.
That's good.
Not bad. Yeah. Are you a pretty good? You're a big fan of golf?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I got into it when I moved. I've always played golf like a little bit as I've grown up because my grandpa was super into it, and that's kind of what we did for fun. But when I moved to Florida and when I got hurt in Supercross in my rookie year, I had to find something to do when I was able to walk and stuff like that. So I started playing golf, and that's when I kind of got into it. So
I got an interesting story. My son's a professional golfer, and he played for San Diego State. His roommate and teammate, and I don't think I've ever told you this, is Xander Schauffele. And Xander's like number 7 in the world. Well, it's funny, when I go down to college or whatever, I'd buy those guys dinner. Well, when Xander started killing it and making, 7, 8, 10 million a year, I called him up. I said, hey, Xander, I'm not buying no more dinners anymore, buddy. You're buying me dinner.
Yeah, really.
That guy's really good. he's gnarly, obviously.
Yeah, he's an awesome kid too.
Chase, how was the adaptation to the 450 going for you? What'd you think? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? I'm guessing you did.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I feel super good on it.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, I think my riding will do the talking in the outdoors. I'm just going to kind of obviously just wait and see, but I feel super good and super comfortable on it as of right now. Obviously, there's some stuff like suspension-wise we have to improve on, but like overall the power and everything, it's just I've been looking for this. Obviously, I've been on a 250, but I've been looking just where the power's at. That's kind of what I've wanted, obviously. So I'm really happy on it, and the Honda is really a really good 450 bike. So I'm looking forward to racing it. But yeah, like I said, I want to get the Supercross thing done. So if this goes actually in May, I'll be super happy about it.
Yeah, we know you're one of the best trainers in the best trainer. You're one of the gnarliest trainers in the sport. You enjoy doing it, and there's lots of stories about how good you are off the bike. But when you take that much time off and you jump back on your 250, like, do you feel like as good as you did at Daytona? You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel? Did you lose a little bit in this time off? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so I rode, so the day before I took like some time off, I rode the 250 just to kind of like, I don't know, kind of get it back in my mind that I can ride a 250 still. And then when I came back, I got back on the 450. So I've kind of been going a little bit back and forth, but today I got back on it, and it takes me probably a session or two to get back to where I need to be.
Okay.
And it's still really, really familiar to me because I've been riding it for I don't know how many years now. So it's what still comes natural. Obviously, I'm still getting used to the 450, so getting back in the 250 isn't super hard. I think if I raced outdoors on it for a whole summer, I think it'd be more difficult than it is, obviously, only taking 3 weeks off of it.
Right. We had Jeremy McGrath on the last show a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about sort of jumping back and forth and doing double headers and this and that with Supercross. Now, it's early, and we don't know if this plan's going to work, but it looks like 2 a week. How do you feel about that, Chase? Do you think that'll be fun? 2 Supercrosses a week? Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting because from what I've heard, like everyone's going to have to stay in like the same hotel, and like the 450 guys are not going to be able to like they're going to be racing twice a week. Like there's no going to be it's going to be weird with like practicing and stuff like that. Like I know like if we do it in Arizona, it's only going to be 4 hours from California, so it's not like it's that far, but like it's going to be weird with practice schedules. Like, are we going to be able to ride during the week, or are we just going to be racing? So it's going to be interesting, but I mean, racing is what we train for. So I think it'd be fun. I think it's going to be something different, and it's definitely going to be interesting.
I know everyone's in the same boat, though. Like Cade was saying, like everyone's the same way. Like it sucks for everybody, including the media and the teams and the riders. But we're all in this together. Let's pull together, right, Chase, and figure it out. I mean, it's not going to be ideal. So
and I think like for me, I think it's going to be good for our sport just to be able to, like, if we do end up racing May, I don't think there's going to be that many sports going. I don't know if that gives us better TV spots or more exposure, but I mean that's obviously I'm being hopeful, and that's what's going to happen. So I think that'd be good for us too. But it's going to be weird racing to know people in the stands, I think, as well. It was going to happen in Indy, but it's going to be weird, I think. It's going to be like third practice or
I know, right?
Off the start. So it's going to be weird.
I agree. It's going to be different time. You have a question for Chase, Jimmy?
I just think that, for you guys, he talked about the 450 guys have to do 2 in a week, but you got to remember he's on that east and you got west, so he's got a little bit of time.
Yeah, who knows how they're going to do that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So did anyone ever talk to you about that? Yeah. Okay.
No, they haven't really said, like, they don't. I'm assuming we're racing first because we have the least amount of races. So I don't know how it's going to. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be like a week, like a month. I think they're planning on racing Mondays and Fridays or Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't know what they're planning on.
Well, and you got a couple, on the schedule, there was still a showdown between you guys, East and West. Are they going to do that?
God, who knows? Yeah, they have to.
Two of them, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be, I think from what I've heard, I think they're going to narrow it down to one, but I don't know. I'm for all I know, I could be talking crazy.
Do you guys think it's possible that they could run only invite the so many 250 guys and run both coasts in one night? Like do 2 250 mains?
I don't know. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they do limit entries on on a general scale though for both classes. I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, especially if they go. There's only 250 people allowed.
Yeah,
with teams
whatever it
and everything.
is, right?
Yeah, your grandma and grandpa can't come.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they limited just entries like, hey, we're going to take 40 night show guys. We're just going to the night show, or whatever it is. So
I think it's going to be weird too because I think there's how many races do we have left? I don't even know how many we're in.
Seven
races
total. Yeah.
So there's 4 for us and I think 3 for the West. So I think they're going to just alternate them, but I have no idea.
Also,
I actually don't know.
Also, too, what about like a guy like R.J. Hampshire who said who's heard it was Supercross was in the fall, so he went and got his ACL? What about us R.J. Hampshire fans, Chase?
I saw you guys on Twitter talking about it. I mean, for R.J. it
that sucks, right?
I'm saying right now, I would not be surprised to see R.J. lining up in however long.
Right, whatever it is, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
He's crazy. I'm telling you that although we've had our differences, that is probably one of the toughest people I've ever met. So
right.
Just with injuries, so I've seen that guy ride through crazy injuries. So he's pretty tough. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Well, some of us are R.J. Hampshire fans, Chase. You know that.
No, I mean I understand that. I understand how big of a support you are. In this
right.
program.
I'm a big
You're
supporter.
a big supporter. So I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
He'll definitely run it in on you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm past that. I think I still got to win that night. So I'm not obviously mad about it.
Hey, did Roxon ever give you any of this Art of Sport stuff? By the way, has he?
I heard you talking about that when I was waiting to get on. I'm like, man, that's an interesting sponsor because he hasn't given me any. They have it at Target and I buy it. So.
Oh really?
Oh wow!
Come on, Kenny.
Buy it. So I'm a real supporter.
Yeah, you are absolutely. Artofsport.com. Find them at Target. I like Chase Sexton and check out their charcoal face wash, anti-dandruff shampoo, deodorant as well. They're bringing you Geico Honda's Chase Sexton tonight on the Pulp MX Show. Please check them out. They've got a bunch of ratings from ESPN, Sports Illustrated, GQ, Men's Health, all of that. So, Chase, for you going out there, how was, and this obviously, look, it's early, everything else, but when you were riding the 450 with Adam and Kenny and whoever else, how'd you feel? How were you to them? How was your times? How was all of that?
I mean, I don't want to really it's just practice.
I know. That's why I'm being I know.
I mean, I'm competitive. I'll just leave it at that. So
okay, all right.
Like, I knew my speed's really not. I don't think my speed is going to be a huge problem. I think me learning is going to be the biggest thing. I mean, those guys. There's so many good guys in that class. Like, I can't really go off of practice. If it was practice, I'd be a lot more comfortable going to the line. But I mean, it's just going to, for this outdoor season, I'm just going to really take it as a learning experience. Like, if obviously I'm going to take, if I'm in a good spot, I'm going to go for it, but I'm not going to go out there with super high expectation. I'm kind of work myself into it, and I think by the end of the season, I'll be where I want to be, and I kind of have that marked out in my head. So
sure.
I just want to build and learn, and overall get ready for the whole point behind this is getting me ready for Supercross, which is going to be 17 rounds, which is what I've never done before. So it's going to be, I think, a good building block to Supercross.
Hey, Chase, what's the hardest thing, when you first started riding that 450 that you felt that, man, this is what's hard for you on that thing to learn?
I think the biggest thing for me to learn is it just really, I think bike setup comes a lot more with the 450. I think the overall how heavy the bike is, and if you're a little bit off suspension setting wise, I think it throws the whole it's a bigger difference compared to the 250 because you could have a setup on a 250 that's not very good, but you can get away with it because the bike's just lighter and you can throw it around a little easier. The 450, if you're off on suspension, it's a bigger deal than riding a 250. So that is the biggest thing for me. I kind of expected where the power and stuff was. That didn't really surprise me at all. And I'm a pretty big kid, so it's not too much for me to handle. Just suspension wise, it's tough to find, or for me just to kind of find that setting. And if I'm a little off, it's a bigger difference than the 250.
Right.
Do you take a lot of your settings? Do you try a lot of the stuff Kenny uses first and then kind of go from there, or do you start with basically a base setting that Honda has?
So we started with what Kenny which is a new chassis from last year, but from outdoors. So we started with Kenny's overall, I think, setting from last year outdoors, what he ran, linkage. I think Trey might have made a new fork setting, I think, but overall I think it's pretty close to what Kenny raced last year, and then I'm kind of going to like take the road that I want to get to where I'm want to be for my stuff, and obviously Kenny will go his own way. So but we do start on Kenny's outdoor setting from last year or something close to that.
Ah, interesting. Chase, you've been a pro for a number of years now, a championship guy, and all of that. Looking back on yourself when you entered the pros, what's been the biggest eye-opener for you as far as, like, now you're established, you're going to be a 450 guy now, you're going to be one of the top guys in the sport. Like, what's the thing that you didn't realize or didn't think about as a rookie now? Has there been something that's really opened your eyes?
For me, I think it's just like amateur-wise, you only have, I think, 5 races a year that you really have to be ready for.
Right.
And this, especially now, having like to race for a championship, like going to the races every weekend is like you have to be on. Like there's no like being off the podium is not really like, but you can't do that if you want to race for a championship.
Right.
So like you have to be on every weekend. I think for me, it's just that's the biggest thing. As a rookie, I didn't really care as much. Like I cared obviously, but I want to do as good as I
Right.
can. But like now, like you've got to go to the races and perform, and like the team expects you to win. So going then racing 20, I think we raced 22 races a year in the 250 class. So 22 races, you got to be at your best. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. Not really realizing it because amateurs, you race 5 races a year and it's a week long. You have a lot of chances to prove yourself. So Saturday you only get 1 or 2 in outdoors. 2
Right,
motos,
right. But yeah. Interesting. Yeah, pressure, right? Like pressure on you, like you said. Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, we work all, and the off season's a lot of training, obviously, to prepare yourself for that. But yeah, going into the pros, I didn't really kind of, I guess, look at it like that. And I'm about ready to go into 29 races a year, so it's going to get even more. Not stressful, but just having to be on your game 20 or 7 more times. So.
Yeah,
I think for me that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, Zacho was telling me a while ago. He's just like and look, he missed some time with injuries, but Zacho's like, dude, it's every weekend. It's just the grind doesn't stop on a 450 guy, you know?
Yeah, it's tough. Or I don't know if it's tough, but that's what I've heard. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Art of Sport bringing you Chase Sexton. Anything else for Chase, guys?
He had mentioned something about amateurs and only racing 5 things a year. Chase, I was talking to somebody this week about, the 125 races at some of the pro nationals, and that I feel like more amateur kids should utilize those races to, better themselves, to prepare them for outdoors. Obviously it's not a Supercross thing, but do you think, what's your opinion on that situation? And as for amateur kids trying to get more ready for the pros?
Yeah, I think that would really be helpful for younger kids. I heard this year, I thought they were saying they're going to do like a 250 like all-star race that replaces the 125 races. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
there
that's
was
true.
supposed to be at 2 or 3 of them were going to be 250 all-stars. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I heard, and I think that and they do, if say they do 25-minute motos, I think that would be like super helpful for those guys. For me, when I was amateur, we didn't really have any of that. I just raced Sunday after like the races, which is the pro track. And that's really the closest I got. But I think for, now, I think the amateurs would benefit a lot from racing Saturday on the same track. Not obviously as long as we do, but just being able to learn the tracks, I think, and knowing that, when you go pro the next year, you've already raced that track and you kind of know what to expect out of the dirt and stuff like that. So I think as much racing as you get on the same track will be beneficial for anybody.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Loretta's obviously is a really good test, and there's 3 motos, and it's hot and 20 minutes and all of that. But, man, there have been some investments by teams and some riders that shall go nameless that have not paid off at all.
Yeah.
And some of them can be like, hey, man, I don't really know what, this is crazy. This is just for all the stuff that you said, Chase, about pressure and the differences. I think the more you can replicate the pro stuff in the amateurs, the less we'll have kids that sort of get 2 years and done, in the sport.
Yeah. For Loretta, you can kind of get a taste of what I I guess you'll see more like in the pros there. But again, it's only 20 minutes. Like 20 minutes and 35 minutes is a lot different.
Right.
Which I've found out because I melted myself last year at WW, and it's actually probably hotter in Loretta. So
yeah,
I think I don't know. I just think the races. I think for A class at Loretta's, I think they could do 25 plus one, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a promoter or anything like that. I shouldn't really put my 2 cents in, but I think that for this year at Freestone, I heard they're doing 25-minute motos. So one of my buddies actually was racing that race, and he was doing 30-minute motos getting ready for it. So I heard they were doing 25-minute motos there. So, I mean, I think they're trying to get everybody going towards longer motos, at least for the, I think, A guys.
Right,
so
right.
I think they're trying to make the right steps towards it. When I was racing, it was only five lap races or 7 lap races or something like that. So, and I wasn't very good at sprinting. But I think the 25 minutes is good for those guys and getting them ready. I think the smaller of a gap between the pros and the amateurs, I think is going to be better. And you're going to see a lot more of the real, like the person that's going to be racing in pros, I think.
Yeah, the GP guys do well. You know, they have a bunch of races on Saturday, EMXs, and you know, definitely a 2-day program I don't think would work over here for the teams and everything else. But I do like the fact that these guys are racing the real tracks with real long motos, you know, and everything else. So.
Yes, something else, Chase, I wanted your opinion on, you know, with Feld, the Supercross Futures. I know they bumped it up this year and everything, and I think that's a pretty good program, you know, for the 50s on through, you know, for these guys to get into a stadium and kind of learn. I know they tone the tracks down, but, I mean, some of the tracks are pretty tough.
Yeah, like I said, I have some, at least a pretty close friend that races A-class and amateurs, and he had been to a few this year, and I was going to stay actually for Tampa on Sunday, but I figured I probably shouldn't be out in the sun and stuff like that. But I've heard that the tracks are actually, I think every year they've done it, they've kind of left them more and more. Like, I think it's gotten a little harder. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to help the kids. I think Supercross is a bigger jump for a lot of people than motocross, just because it's a different scene, and some people haven't had any time on Supercross. But I think everyone's getting more and more, like they're having kids ride Supercross more often, which is going to help. But I think those races are good, and it's kind of cool they're doing the point system through that. Me personally, I think Arena Cross was like, it was gnarly racing those guys on like their championship. I think it's not that we're not really, like, no one's interrupting any championships. So
someone threatened to break your leg, right? Correct? Someone threatened to break your leg, right? Yes.
I got in there and raced. So I didn't race the lights class. I raced the AX class, and I was 15 years old, and I was probably not being the smartest, but I was not. I was kind of getting the people just in their championship fights, and I know I wouldn't like that if I was in that position, but at the time I was just trying to get my points.
Yeah. You're just like, hey, you're like, listen, I don't want to be here either. But you know,
I mean, I actually really enjoyed it. Like some people didn't really like Arena Cross, but I kind of grew up in that like scene.
Yeah.
So for me, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was fun. But yeah, I was out there racing grown men, and they were not too happy.
I heard the story. It was like, it was ridiculous. So
actually, most of them were actually pretty cool. Like Chris Blows, Gavin Faith, all the top guys were actually really cool, and they actually were helping me a little bit, like with stuff I just needed help on. So most of them were actually really cool about it.
Right. Well, hey, Chase, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate the time. Good luck with everything, and whether we'll see you in a 3 or 4 weeks or not, I guess we'll see. But yeah, we'll either see you on a 450 soon or a 250. One of the two, indoors or out. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'll see you guys soon then.
All right, thanks, Chase.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's Chase Sexton, everybody. Artistsport.com. I like Chase. Good interview. Good guy.
He is a super guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I raised money